Zombie 3. This is definitely one of those films that I've had extreme feelings on, like one way or the other. It's in that rarefied list of films for me where I felt very much one way about it at one time, and then later on I felt the exact opposite way about it at another. When I first saw Zombie 3, I was, I think, 15, going on 16. I don't think I turned 16 yet. I had believed at the time that it was a sequel to Lucio Fulci's masterpiece Zombie, also known as Zombie 2. But by the time the film was over, after my first viewing, I felt, I don't want to say cheated, that's the wrong word, but I felt very, very, very disappointed. Very disappointed, very underwhelmed. Most of that I could say now came from me expecting it to be one type of movie and I got another. But it was just other things about the film, like I don't know, at the time that just I guess bothered me one way or another. I didn't think it was all that interesting. I didn't care for the characters. It just didn't really engage me in any real way. I can't say it was a full-blown boring slog, but I don't know, I'm just deeply, deeply disappointed with it. At the time, and for many, many years afterwards, I would have said that is easily one of the worst zombie films ever made. Like, maybe not at the very bottom tier of just bad zombie films, but close enough though. I just thought it was just, I don't know, just wrong in so many ways. And this went on for many, many, many years. And I think also I was disappointed with the fact that, I believe it was directed by Lucio Fulci. And Lucio Fulci did direct Zombie 3. But he wasn't the only one who directed Zombie 3. I found out years later that, I believe most of it was directed by him in terms of basically the film was directed by 3 directors. And Lucio Fulci, I believe, directed the most sequences of the trio. But the film was also directed by Claudio Fragasso, most famously known for Troll 2. And the other director is Bruno Mattei, known for doing such awesome movies like Hell of the Living Dead, Rats, and a number of other films. So when I found out years later that the film was directed, but not one, but 3 directors, it made more sense why Zombie 3 didn't feel much like a Lucio Fulci film, because it was just a mixture of all 3 directors. As the years went on and I discovered more and more about the backstory of the making of Zombie 3, I thought, at least at one point, that story was much more interesting than the film itself. Just the behind-the-scene chaos with being directed by 3 directors. Initially, Lucio Fulci did go ahead and film a good part of the film, but depending on what you hear, he got sick. Another thing said he got tired of being on the film. He didn't want to do it in the first place. I'm not really sure what's the true reason why Lucio Fulci left, but whatever the reason ultimately is, 2 other directors took over, and then each one did their own thing, and it just explained a lot to me why the film felt so, when I first saw it, so disjointed, so unfocused, just so lackluster in terms of having a vision. And it definitely made sense, why it wasn't a direct tie-in to Zombie 2. Then again, even Lucio Fulci had finished making this film. It was clear, from his intention and others, this was never going to be a direct sequel to Zombie 2 or Zombie. I had the opinion that Zombie 3 was one of the worst, or at least zombie films ever made until a few years ago. And I was looking at some videos on YouTube that were focused on Zombie 3. I think they were review videos. And I think maybe one of the videos I saw was, I don't know if it was Red Letter Media. It was somebody's video and it was showing scenes from the film. I'm pretty sure it was Red Letter Media, but I'm not 100%. And I'm like, wow, this film actually looks kind of interesting. I don't remember any of these scenes, these cool scenes, that they were showing in the video about Zombie 3. I didn't remember any sequences. I didn't really remember much about Zombie 3. There are certain sequences that have always been like seared into my consciousness. I never forgot from watching it all those years ago, but a lot of the movie was just a blur to me. And so looking at the positive reaction that the reviewers had of Zombie 3, in addition to seeing the craziness of the scenes they were showing, I'm like, maybe I should give this film another shot. And then I saw another review on on Zombie 3, and it looked really interesting. So I went ahead and I decided I'm gonna go ahead and see this film again. I'm gonna give it one more shot. And so I told one of my brothers for Christmas, you can go ahead and get me this for Christmas. A Blu-ray of Zombie 3. Now, I'm certain my brothers were probably thinking, they knew how much I did not like this film, and they were probably thinking, why would he want this for a Christmas gift? But thankfully they were nice enough to go ahead and give me that as a gift. And I had watched it again for the second time, and when I saw it again, I absolutely really, really, really liked it a lot. And in fact, I loved a lot of it. I just had a completely 180 opinion from the one I had previously. I don't know, it's just this old Zombie felt quite like Zombie 3, and before, which I may have saw as like a liability against the film, the fact that it had so many different directors doing it. I thought with all the mixture of people not being on page of what they wanted, that it was a detriment to the film. And now I actually see it as a big positive. The three directors, different visions. But I think this time why I didn't have a problem with it, because I think this time around, the second time around I saw it, it just gelled for me. The visions together, the differing creative choices, it just was seamless. It's all varying in terms of what each director wanted, what Fugasso wanted, what Fulci wanted, what Mattei wanted, but it just blends into this beautiful marriage of madness, this film. I mean, you would think it's a comedy with crazy stuff in this, and unintentionally it could be seen that way, but they were really playing it very straight, and I think that's also the appeal of it, that they were playing it very straight, but it comes off cool and campy. The atmosphere is great in the film. Just the way the film looks. For the most part, the makeup is good. There's a few scenes here and there where this makeup looks off, but overall the makeup looks good. In fact, at times really, really good. The special effects, they hold up well for the most part, and they're nice and gory as a way they should be in a zombie film. Best scene to me, maybe not necessarily the best FX scene, but the best scene involving FX, this really bonkers scene of this zombie head, disembodied zombie head, flying out of a refrigerator and just gnawing on someone. That is just some really crazy shit. The film is just all just off the wall, totally off the wall, totally crazy. If I had to think of a tone, it's kind of some of it you can see Lucio Fulci's foreboding atmosphere from Zombie or from his Gates of Hell trilogy. It's definitely infused in there, but you also have the same visuals and tone that was seen in or reminiscent of the first Return of the Living Dead. There's some other films thrown in there as well, maybe a mixture of Reanimator. It's just a whole bunch of different flavors blended into this film. The characters in the movie aren't exactly the most memorable. There really isn't much to them, but some of them do stand out in distinctive ways and memorable ways. It has more so to maybe do with just the crazy, I don't know crazy, but just some of the antics they do on screen, just whether it's saying unintentionally hilarious dialogue that makes them stand out, or they do actions that make them stand out. Zombie 3's score by Stefano Mainetti is both exceedingly eerie and exceedingly exhilarating. The zombies in this film are quite not like any other type of zombies you've seen before or since. They're part Romero, serious and slow, threatening zombies, and also part like Return of the Living Dead, like just crazy, erratic, you know, it's just super fast moving like creatures, and with something else mixed of its own. Like it definitely has its own special concoction. Like it throws its own like distinct ingredient into the concoction in terms of like what type of zombies these creatures are. They're like, again, like nothing else you've ever seen before. And if you're someone who's just really a traditionalist for zombies, like, zombies need to be always, threatening and totally serious, a heart attack, this film may not be for you. But if you're looking for something different, like you're tired of the same old zombie stuff, zombies acting the same way, this will give you something you haven't never quite seen before. And I think you'll like it if you have the proper mindset. I've seen Zombie 3 very recently again, and each time I see it, I like it more and more. In fact, I can say definitely I absolutely love the movie. It's just a great, entertaining time. It's not quite on the top tier level of just like, I don't know, like ultra serious, ultra prestige films like the Romero series, but on an entertainment scale, it's just one of the best. It's a film I very much look forward to watching again and again and again. It's the perfect like crowd-pleasing movie. It's the perfect like crowd-pleasing if they love like just crazy, insane, off-the-wall bonkers shit. If they love like so bad it's good movies. If they love campy stuff. If they love 80s stuff. If they love zombie stuff. If they just love having a great time, Zombie 3 is a great pick to choose.